Okay, I think it's safe to start now. Man, what a chore that was. You know, sometimes you don't have any problems connecting, and sometimes you do. And it should be easy, like, plug in, this is the phone. Yes, use it as a camera. I guess that's just counterintuitive. If you haven't tried to use your phone as a camera, you probably would not make any sense to you why it would be so difficult for it to talk to itself. But that really should be almost second nature. But I couldn't find it. I was tinkering with it almost 15 minutes. So hopefully that's the only issues that we have today. Anyhow, here we go. And we're going to pick up this 234/4 Packwagen where we left off. I think we were about to do the tires. Yeah, as we did these things, so it's time to do all the tires and the parts that go with them. So this is the spare. You grab all the black tires and cut all them out. And let's make sure this is all the way on the ground. Okay, so I don't mess up my neck. Been a few days since I've been able to get on here, but I guess it's Wednesday. Didn't get on here Monday or Tuesday. It's not too bad. So just got home too late on those days to really do anything. Starting at 9:30 on a work night is just not going to work. All right, so let's take off all of these sections here. Look how I build many of these. Okay, that's the 4 of those. And then here's the other 4 of the other part. And then the same ones over here. I know for a fact we're not going to be able to get this done today. It's just too many little parts. Which is fine. It's not a race or anything. Okay, so there you have all those parts. Then we need the 3As, which are these right here. I'm going to put these away because it's actually slower to do it with this if I'm just pulling them off of here. And the main thing is that I know they're not going to snap on me. Yeah, this is quicker for these parts that are a lot more durable. These little pieces that can bend and crack, yeah, we don't want to do it on that, but these other more durable parts should be just fine on. Okay, we got 4 of those as well. And then 18As, which are the centers. Should be 8, 4 here. And the other 4 are on the other sprue, because these 2 sprues are identical. I was actually a little concerned when I put the other wheels together that they weren't going to fit, or it was going to look like 2 halves, but it actually worked out pretty well. They fit. The fit on these models, people like gripe that these models are a pain in the ass to do and they're fiddly, but the fit and finish on them is really, really good. You know, the instructions are sometimes vague as hell, but you know, you got the internet and stuff to guide you, so you know, it's not like it's the end of the world. But the fit and finish on all of them is really good. They fit together nicely. Now, this time we said we were going to put the 2 halves together. I'm still not going to do that. I'm going to. This is kind of an open top vehicle, so. Hey, Skylab, how you doing, man? You guys getting any cool weather out there yet? It was cooler today. We only got to 115 degrees today. Yeah, the funny thing is, I just don't like it at work. You know, when I'm not at work, I can deal with the heat because, you know, I don't have to wear like extra equipment, hard hat, bullshit like that, long pants, you know. I actually worked on the yard after the Sunday show. My wife and I worked on the yard for about an hour, and it wasn't too bad. It wasn't too bad. We did it early enough, it wasn't an issue. And, you know, obviously I'm not wearing long pants and stuff to do that. I don't know what it's like at the Rockies at this time of year. I can't wait to go back to the Rockies, but I don't want to go in this time of year. I already live in a hot place. I don't need to go somewhere on vacation when it's hot. Not my idea of a good time. Okay, so those are somewhat done. Just taking the bigger pieces off, it just makes the whole process a little easier. Yeah, I don't know if I was going to be able to connect today. It took me probably 15 minutes to my computer to recognize my phone as my phone. Sometimes it just acts weird. And that's with having something that's relatively new. But I swear it didn't take long for me to have it. Maybe a year, and then they're like, oh, there's a new version of Windows. You want to convert? I'm like, nope. No, I'm not going to do that until you make me. Because I've already been through the 64-bit apocalypse on the iPad and lost a bunch of games. So, yeah, I'm not going to change operating systems just for yucks. Had some cooler weather and increased showers because of the remnants of Hurricane Hillary. Well, I've heard of it, but haven't really followed the news. I don't really pay attention to the news. I guess I went to California. I watched the news just long enough to see that one guy, that the Wagner leader, supposedly died in a plane accident, or did he? You know, that's why I don't watch the news. There's just so much misinformation, and I don't really know what it is, but we'll report it anyways. And this is all the big ones, and we'll probably have to trim them up a little bit when they're together. No big deal. Last I heard, the plane was accidentally shot down. Or was it? Or did he even die there? He was just like, all right, we'll just pretend you're dead and we'll shuffle you off to something else. I don't know. When things start becoming so like, well, we don't really know, I'm just like lose interest. And I'm like, okay, well, you tell me when you figure it out in 50 years. Just like I heard the other day, it was on the feed or whatever. It was on something. Russian spacecraft crashes into the moon. I still haven't looked to see what happened. Like, is there video? No. They're in the middle of a war that seems not going very well for them, and they're launching spacecraft to the moon. That's they have a critical path problem. And this one we'll do by hand. I still don't understand how the Russian vehicles in the Ukraine work. You know, the Ukrainian vehicles have no markings on them, and the Russian vehicles have Z on them. Why? Because that's who they're hunting. Like, you would think that the Ukrainian ones would have Z painted on them, not the Russian ones. That would be like, you know, playing a World War II game and all the JS2s have H on them, you know, because they're hunting Hitler. It doesn't make any sense, you know? It's true, Luna 25 moonlander lost control and crashed into the moon. Yeah, what are they doing there? Shouldn't they, like, shore up freaking Ukraine before they do shit like that? Luna 25. Russians shouldn't give the spacecraft the Spanish name. It doesn't work well. Luna might be moon in Spanish too, for that. I mean, in Russian too, for that matter. Okay. We got enough of that stuff off that we can probably safely put these together. All right, and all we're going to do is get the magic glue here. Luna 25 program has been trying to get there for the last 20 years. Old program, they were trying to beat the Indians who landed on the moon this morning. Also didn't hear about that. Oh my goodness, it's made of cheese. I love listening to Indian people talk. It's extremely relaxing. Didn't even know the Indians had a space program. Hey, it wasn't my job to watch them. Wasn't my turn to watch them. All right, we're going to put this in here. I'm fine with space stuff as long as it's a solar system. Once you start going out of the solar system and you hear, you know, oh, this asteroid is really close to hitting Earth and it's like it's not even entering the solar system, or this is 1,500 light years away and stuff like that. I'm like, you guys don't really know what the fuck you're talking about. Come on, man. You can't find an airliner in the Pacific and you're worried about something 1,500 light years away, which is pretty much unfathomable for, you know, normal people. Russians had revised Luna 25, make it more likely to land successfully. Oops. No video, huh? You got to land there successfully before they can put a video camera to do the second landing, be visible. Indians are serious about lunar exploration and don't have the internal problems that Russia has. Yeah, they're not fighting. They're not fighting a war they don't seem to be able to win. You would think that nations would have learned about wars from the Second World War. You would think. Stuff's like evaporating like really, really fast. Strange. Why are they serious about exploration? They want to put a call center up there or something? Like, I wouldn't care about the moon. When does India surpass China in population? Has it already happened, or is it like next year or something like that? I think it's really soon. Uh-oh. Gotta find out where these little... Get the weekend yet? Halfway there. More than halfway there, right? Midday of today would be halfway there. Wow, I don't know where the hell the... There's one of them. Seven viewers. Everybody showed up. I was wondering if folks were going to be here. I'm like, man, you guys need to show up or I'm not going to be able to stay on task. I'll get bored. I mean, I guess I still could talk to myself, but it makes a difference if there's somebody like asking stuff once in a while or at least some interaction. Okay. The holes are side to side there. All right, let's remember that. So when we slide this over it, we don't misplace them. I figured you were into space stuff with a name like Skylab. That would make sense. With China and Russia on their doorsteps, and you realize it has to ramp up the technology, they're going to compete or stay independent. Well, I don't think Russia's much of a threat. Unbeknownst to all of them. But yeah, China's a problem. Nordic, there he is. Welcome, welcome. Startled me. You should you should start an internet show, Nordic. It should be called Up All Night with Nordic. Didn't they have a show like that? Up All Night, sounds like an MTV show or something like that. Some VJ that's, back when they had music on MTV. Back in the late 80s. It might have been even later than that, but Up All Night with Nordic. Space guy. You taught space history and astronomy for about 30 years. Yeah, some of it I like. Some of it is just too unfathomable that I just choose not to pay attention to it. So, but I've always liked the planets and shit like that. I don't know where you're at, but it's super easy to find Orion from here. Always. Almost always. It's called Up All Night. There you go. They had a show on the old USA Net that was an adult-oriented show. Sounds like my kind of thing. Was it really adult or was it... Nah, it was USA adult, right? It was like PG-13 in the 80s that showed boobies, right? There were just boobies on it. I'm kind of European when it comes to boobies. It's not that big of a deal. It's all what you're doing with them that makes the show adult or not. You miss Florida's flat horizon for astronomy observing, but the skies here in Utah are darker. Yeah, and you can climb up on a hill or something, You don't have that here. Yeah, and wintertime here is great because there's not a cloud in the sky. Most nights. It's funny, the only time I ever saw the space shuttle from here, from my town, was the time it blew up. This is ironic, but I have seen it one other time, and I was on a flight, and I saw it out of the side of the plane, and it was pretty cool. I mean, it was, see, how big would it have been? Maybe a quarter inch. Quarter inch, visibly, it's very clear. Like we were already up in the air and it was launching. Obviously, it wasn't right underneath us. So I'm trying to think where the hell could we have been that I would have seen it? I'm thinking it's like a flight from Fort Lauderdale up to New York or something like that I would have seen it. But that was pretty cool. And I don't know what shuttle it was. And obviously, it was back when they were still doing shuttles. But I've never been to Kennedy Space Center, ever. And really have no interest in going. It's just not my shtick. I'd rather go to an air show, which I also haven't been to. No, I did. The last air show I went to was probably in the 80s. I just want to see warbirds. They don't need to do death-defying stunts above my head. My wife's terrified of it. And really, they don't need to be doing... I just want to go in here like a Spitfire and shit like that. They don't need to do crazy maneuvers, Planets, yeah. You can see the big three. Well, not the big three, but the three, you know what they are with a naked eye. Real easy. Venus, Jupiter, and Mars. See, this is how much of a science guy I am not. Okay? And it doesn't mean I hate science. I just don't understand it. The same way people don't understand, Tony, how do you always know which way north is? I'm like, how do you not? I mean, like, I always know which way north is. I don't understand science. And here's one of the things I don't understand about science. Okay? And I know that the color that the planets are, it's reflective. But that doesn't make any sense to me. Like, the rest of the sky is black, and then yet that's reflective, but nothing else. I don't know. It just simple things like that. I just don't worry about it. You know? Like, I think it's weird that we don't see the other side of the moon. I mean, that's kind of messed up. You know? Not everybody can understand everything. And there's just a lot of stuff I'm just not interested in. Go find a star chart. You get apps on your phone that are free. They're helpful. I mean, they're not 100% accurate, but at least kind of gives you an idea. There's got to be like free stuff on the internet, man. I'm sure there is. I'm sure there's tons of stuff. Uh-oh. ¿Qué hice? Are they giving me an extra one? I just didn't put one in. God bless it. I can't do two things at once. This one's missing one. Never said I was a good multitasker. As a matter of fact, I make it a point to point out that I am not a good multitasker. Yep. There's no meat in this sandwich. What's a subject that a lot of people are interested in? You guys aren't interested at all. For me, it would be sports. Like, I'm just not interested in sports at all. I don't care what happens. Well, now it's turned into the news, too. I don't give a shit about the news. Although, I have a feeling there's a lot of people like me that are just really apathetic. Like, whatever. What ship type would you want a class of ship named after you? You gents, you're ducking out to watch a Republican debate on TV. Everybody's going to have, what, a minute or whatever? There's so many candidates. Yeah, I guess that's tonight, and I don't need to watch that shit. I used to care about politics, and then I realized, oh, it's just the same crap. It's the same liars. Some guys tell you what you want to hear. Some guys tell you what you don't want to hear, and they're both lying to you. All right, let's cut these pieces out, and when I'm done with that, I'm going to come back and sand these guys off. That way they're not gooey. Here is where, man, I'm sore as crap. I feel like I got T-Rex arms. Went to the gym 2 days in a row, which is exactly what I should be doing. Oh well, it's good pain. Fat guy gotta move. Still gamer medium, maybe even gamer small. I shouldn't say that. There's some really short gamers, and I'm not really short. So I'll go with medium. I'm a medium-sized gamer. All right. Got these guys out too. I did used to like to watch the Olympics many years ago, and then it was like, it's all crap now. I don't watch that either. Not even the Winter Olympics that are, at least something different. Oh, there's lots of you guys. I'll find you. All right. Let's see where you went. There you are. Okay. Yesterday, you were sidelined the entire day with intestinal disease bullshit. Wiped me out the entire day and night. I mowed the lawns, but afterwards started dealing with being dizzy from one of my meds. It causes dizziness. Like dizziness that could cause you to throw up, or just like you can't drive a car because you're dizzy. Or like, whoa, man, that's dizzy. I'm sure that's not what it is. You don't want to probably feel. Otherwise, you'd be happy that it caused dizziness, and I doubt that's the case. Speaking of meds, I have spent probably, 7 hours talking to 7 or 8 different folks on this new medicine that they want to try on me. And it's like, holy crap, there's this many people that are calling me to talk about it. I mean, should I really be putting this in my body? And I just realized because it's an injectable, they want to be worried. I'm like, the doctor's going to do the first dose. I'm making a big deal out of nothing, but holy crap, they've hounded me over everything. But the medicine's like a freaking racket. Like, they'll tell you what they'll tell you how much the medicine is, and say, well, we set you up for copay assistance. Basically, if you didn't have any insurance, like it costs like $5,000 a dose. Like, okay, it's not life threatening. Like, nobody's gonna do that, right? Even if it was $500 a dose, I still wouldn't do it. 50, okay, but yeah, and then they want to sign you up to do this copay assistance, and different people are talking to you like, why don't you just call the people that are sending me the medicine? They're the ones that want to sell it, and they know I'm not going to buy it without the assistance. I mean, it's just the insurance premiums go for that. It's like, why don't you guys just talk to each other and just leave me out of it instead of calling me at work? But it's supposed to get here in Supposed to get here on Friday and making an appointment next week to get that done. So we'll see how that works out. If not, we'll go back to what we're doing. Like I said, everybody's got something. Hopefully what you have isn't life-threatening. Dizzy today, that is dizzy. I can't move around because you're falling all over the joint. Well, don't smoke a joint at the same time. You don't do that stuff, can't stand the smell. Yep, never done it before. Don't like the culture, regardless of the smell, and anything else. I actually somehow got signed up. I've used Reddit very little, but I got signed up to get emails from a Reddit thread. Is it a thread? A Reddit site? A subreddit? I don't know what the hell it's called. Anyways, this feed from it that's called No Stupid Questions or something like that. I don't know how, but there's like a litany of different things on there. And one of the people today, it was something about marijuana, and they were saying that, what was it that we're saying is when you were a daily user of that, how did you stop? And people started kind of throwing in their kind of personal stories. And the one common thread that a lot of the folks said was that while they were smoking pot, they got angry all the time. Like they were angry when they weren't smoking it. Like they were chill when they were smoking it, but when they weren't, it made them really short-tempered. And it was just kind of interesting to see people actually say something negative about it, because anywhere you turn around, it just seems like it's God's gift to humanity. And that seemed to be the common thread. I don't know anything about it. I couldn't even tell you where I'd go get some, although there's dispensaries, so I guess that's where you would go, but I don't know jack shit about it. We're distillers, not growers. But I thought that was interesting. There was a kind of a common thread that, yeah, it's supposed to relax you, and it does. You don't give a shit about anything until you're not on it, and then you're, angry all the time. And that's just from you falling all over your joint. That came up. I just saw that today. Thought it was interesting. I don't care if people do it. I just don't get me involved in it, and just stay downwind of me. I don't need to smell that shit. And don't offer it to kids. Rough 2 days, yeah. So what do you do on wintertime when there's no lawns to mow? Do you shovel driveways then? I guess you probably could do that. If you're busy in the summer and busy in the winter, I guess it's the in-between time. Do you rake leaves? There's something I'll never do again. Rake. I have a bad childhood experience with raking. I'm just waiting for somebody to confront me. Well, I heard you the other day you were talking about such and such and such, and that wasn't very nice. And I'm going to tell them, well, I didn't know you didn't mention that you were listening to my channel. You were just hiding in the, in the bookcase like that. So I'm not going to respond to your question. I'm not too worried about it. I'll come here and just be myself. You don't like me? Well, that's fine. No trees in your yards and no raking needed. Excellent. You refuse to shovel unless you have to. Yeah, I've never shoveled a yard. But, never had a yard that it snowed. So this year, one thing that's actually a marketed difference here is I haven't seen as many bugs. Like, flying bugs. It's just too hot for them. The flying ones, like mosquitoes and stuff like that. There's been less of them than other years. Okay, this is the part, since we got these guys, we're going to go ahead and sand this and make sure that this is somewhat smoothie. No trees in your yard. Well, you obviously don't live in this town. I don't know there's many yards that don't have any trees in this town. People here love having trees all the way up their ass. It's like a leaf enema. I don't hate trees. I just don't want a 60-foot tree closer than 60 feet from the house where it could fall on you. And there's nothing you could do. You can't sue Mother Nature. Where is the king of the nerd burglars? He's the third guy online. He's getting another free coffee or something. I don't know. You can drink too much coffee, and honestly, I'm kind of well. I just had some coffee because I'm falling asleep. But I don't care for it very much. I don't care for the taste of it very much. There he is, Nerd Burglar. Told you, he's the third guy. He's out there grinding Skyrim. I have trees all around me. The whole area behind my house is up in the mountains, forested heavily. I just don't have a yard big enough for a tree. That's okay. I'd rather Rick be a nerd burglar than whatever the hell he was. Well, you said that old picture you put on Facebook, and it wasn't that old because it was like 2015, and 2015 was the other day. 2015 was like yesterday. That's one of your shirts. You're easy. Yeah, I'm not easy or cheap. Wasn't there multiple travelers? Wasn't it like a Traveler 2000? Or was it always 2300? I wasn't really a fan of Role-playing games. The one game like that I enjoyed quite a bit, and it might have been my age. I was in my late teens at the time. This one guy that I knew that would put on games. He was a few years older than me. We'll call him 2 or 3 years older than me. He was in college when I was finishing up high school. He had this game that he played, and it was actually, come to find out, is a game that I played a couple times with him running it, and come to find out, it's actually written by Frank Chadwick. I know I've mentioned this on here before, and it's a role-playing-ish game called On Guard. It came out in the 70s, and it's basically a character development type of game where you've got a sheet and you're trying to go up in ranks and and do things that are better for you and stuff. And he had a whole set of miniatures, and he would do duels like with the actual miniatures and stuff. But I don't remember much about it other than we really liked it. There was like 4 or 5 of us that were playing it and really got into it, especially because he was a pretty good painter, if I remember correctly. He's one of those guys that I really liked him, and he was older, and all of a sudden one day he just disappeared. He was like all of a sudden like, I don't do gaming anymore. He got really into his job and he just disappeared. And I tried looking for him a couple of years ago, and I realized he's still in Florida, but he's one of those guys like, I don't game anymore. I'm like, well, what do you do then, man? I've said X, Y, and Z in the expansion modules A and B because you talk about them every time. Yeah. What is it about the Traveler that you like so much? I don't like space games. Unless you talk like Battletech, a space game. I don't mind the Battletech game. It's not space, it's science fiction, it's space games. You don't miniature game anymore. Okay, but you don't not do any games. You still do board games. There's a guy that I'm Facebook acquaintances with him. I don't know him. He posts a lot, and he supposedly, hold on, let me get you excited and put some of my cream on. I'm starting to get itchy. And he did a post the other day, and he did this about a year ago. Basically did a post something like, the girls say, meaning him and his wife and his daughter, I can't have any more of X. I need to get rid of it all, because And then he did a post the other day. He was like, you got to get rid of all of his bolt action figures or whatever. And I posted the same thing that I did about a year ago. I said, thanks for reminding me to tell my wife I love her. But, I don't know what his situation is. Maybe his wife is irrational. Maybe she's a control freak. Maybe the dude has too much shit. It's possible. If you keep buying stuff all the time, every time you turn around every weekend, you're buying stuff on eBay and shit and not doing anything with it, and you just have a bunch of clutter. Yeah, that's a problem. I could see them saying, you can't have any more. But I don't really know what his situation is, but you can take things too far, but you can also be with somebody that's like, I don't want you doing none of that shit. The game engine and the field of the game, I like space stuff. Play board games, heck counter, music thing, I don't care, miniature game. It's game miniature pay. So yeah, girl said I can't have this stuff anymore. I wish it wouldn't happen here. First of all, I don't have that much stuff that it takes over the whole freaking house. I know people that have all their gaming shit all over their house. No, I'm not talking about you, Rick. You can do whatever the hell you want. You're the king and queen of your freaking domain. Probably the jester too. So you can do whatever the hell you want. But I'm just talking about somebody who's stuff takes over the damn house. Have game shit everywhere. You got lightsabers or stuff. I don't know. There's people that are like way too into some stuff. Like it's a show or a movie, dude. Like, chill out. My stuff's pretty much confined in here. I got some of my things out on display in the main room, but they're all put together. You know, they're a little display case. It might as well be, you know, art or something like that. It's out of the way. Yeah. Yeah, you can do whatever the hell you want. I've been there. My tiny pile of shame fits into a few plastic baggies. Well, there you go. And that's a good feeling. I only buy stuff if I get a really good deal on it. I'm like, I'm not leaving that. I'm gonna have to get out of this. I'm not gonna call it a funk because I'm not really in a funk. I just feel like building stuff right now and not painting, but base paint some of these KVs and do them. But you know, this takes time too. I don't have that many more things left to build, so. $100 to 150 15 millimeter miniatures. Yeah, that's not very much. You got like 4 DBA armies worth then. Yeah, that's not very much. You know, that's not very much. Like, you should be concerned about it, like, you know, taking over your damn house or something. All right. Now we'll flip all these guys over. And we'll connect all this stuff. It's almost been an hour, and all we've done is do very little amount of things. It takes a while. Don't make any freaking plans. Oh, I got these. All the black scrapings on me. You need advice? Hit me. Without knowing the context at all. Okay. Don't forget to get your whole head in front of the shotgun. What else? Do I or don't I? Depends. I'm not going to give it... That's... No context at all? Do both. Do neither. Why can't we know the context? Because you don't know the context, or it's probably better we don't know? If it's going to be something really weird, we got to know. As I like to tell people, we won't think any less of you. Everybody's into weird stuff. Just some people are smart enough not to tell the whole world. Some people aren't proud of it. Ah, Snapdragon. Open that up. I just have a shopping cart full of games. Want to pull the trigger. Most are pre-orders and I wouldn't see them till October. Don't do it. Don't do it. Easy answer. Have you unwrapped all the games you already have? No. Okay, why you get more games, man? Play stuff. Play the stuff you have. Is that a goal you have? Like, at least play everything you have once, and then realize, I don't like this game at all, or this has a what do we call that thing that none of us like? A traitor mechanism. Find out a game's got a type of gameplay that doesn't suit you. Or, maybe the game isn't something you thought it was. Like, there's a game that I got. I ended up selling it. I don't mind the game, but the game did not play how I thought it was going to play. And the name of the game is called History of the World. It's a Avalon Hill Hasbro thing from the mid-90s or whatever. And it's a decent game, but I just didn't think it was going to play the way it does, which is basically it's like a scoring game, basically. And you populate the map with your armies, and you can attack other people. You basically take one turn as a certain country, and then you score, and your guys are left there for future rounds, where the other nations that you play in the next round could potentially have some of the figures and do scoring in the future. But it's basically a scoring type game. I thought you'd just play, multiple turns with the same nation, not just like, okay, let's play, so-and-so, and, you're done. I mean, it's a fun game. It just wasn't what I thought it was going to be. You need Kevin to break the tie? I don't know. He'd probably give you a cryptic answer. I can tell you one thing. The internet is really good to get people to buy things because you have access to just about everything in the world, right? The bad thing for me is it also allows you to put things in your cart and then realize, that was fun. Let me go take them out of the cart and not buy it. So the fact that, and I've mentioned this before, the fact that you have, like, say, miniatures that have pictures of what they look like online takes the fun of ordering stuff just to see what they look like. And don't get me wrong, it's better that it's the way it is now, but it's kept me from buying things because there's not like this, well, let's order these and see what they look like kind of thing. You also don't have the, buyer's remorse. Man, I wish I hadn't gotten these guys. They look like crap, My alter ego votes yes, but demands a bribe to do so. Oh, man. Okay, so now we got to glue these little knickknacks. Let me look at this one. I actually think I put the ends on there first, didn't I? I did. I cut all the little ends and they went on there. So let's install those and then we'll put the wheels on. These tiny little roaches. Tiny, tiny little pieces. Let's see, here they are. They look like little bananas or something. We'll need to use the nips for those. The only hang up is that pre-order delay. I just wait till the actual release, but a couple have gone out of stock, come back in stock, so it might feel risky to wait. Yeah, I'm not, what's that thing that the people do? Will you like pre-order for stuff? Where you promise to buy it or whatever. That's a spending model that just doesn't appeal to me. You know what it's called. I just can't think of what it's called right now. Where you go and say, hey, I'm coming out with this such and such a book. Here's what it looks like. Will you pre-order it? I'm like, no, that's not interested in that. Kickstarter, that's what it is. That just doesn't interest me. What's the worst game, Rick, that you bought that you regret having bought? That you wish is like, man, if I would have known this game was like this, I wouldn't have spent a dime on it. That's tough because that's happened a lot of times. Hopefully, that hasn't happened a lot of times to you. Maybe it could have. It makes sense it would happen to you a lot because you've bought a lot. You know. And they're probably things that you got before there was like reviews for them on the internet. Because it's really easy to just go on YouTube and you can at least see what the components consist of. You know, see what you're getting your money's worth for. No, really, really do a lot of research before I get a game. There aren't many times when I've been surprised how bad a game is. Yeah, what do you do with a game that sucks? Sell it to Noble Knight. Have them unload it on some poor sap. Loud moped. All right, we're gonna put these wheels on and then we're gonna call it a night. I had trouble going to sleep last night and I woke up early. Me and money buy stuff, not pre-ordering. North Africa 41. Now I can't find it for a decent price. Does that do anything? There's a shower emoji somewhere when I click. There's a bunch of hearts going up. And that's a new heart button. I wish it wasn't there. I can't take it off for myself. And it blocks sometimes what you guys write in that little corner. Oh, okay. So it's you guys too. Yeah, I didn't ask for that to be there. That's what happens when you end up using a free app. This is Streamlabs, and you just got to deal with it, I guess. I can see the hearts in the end. Yep. They go up in the air like they just don't care. No, they go over. They're like bubble, almost like bubbles in a fish tank. They just raise up towards the top. There's a guy that used to play DBA, and he was notorious for being basically an asshole all the time. And his MO is he's always never happy with the results, right? But that's how he is all the time. He's not one of our Florida groups. He's one of the guys that travels that up from. It's actually from Nordic's uh, neck of the woods. This guy's always unhappy all the time. So his shtick is, if you beat him, you're a cheater. If he beats you, you suck. So he told me one time, Tony, you suck. And I remember hearing this saying one time, I'll never forget it. I said, only yours, Larry, only yours. But this guy was always unhappy, always. And it gets old, man. If you're not enjoying gaming, you need to not do it. Sounds like somebody you may know, yeah. Well, supposedly this person gave up gaming. They just, if somebody says, hey, do the thing that's going to make you the happiest. And if you do that and you're still angry and grumpy, you need to find another hobby, man. Thing you hate the most about gamers are the ones who just whine and complain about dice rolls. But then when they roll well, they don't complain about that. You just need to be honest with yourself. Yeah, some people they talk themselves into be scared of the dice. I'm not scared of no dice. The dice could, turn around and roll well for me. And I happen to think, I don't know whether I'm accurate or not, because I'm not going to go back and look, but I don't actually have this information. I would say that on average, I roll, maybe being angry and grumpy is his hobby. No shit. Absolutely. There's a lot of people that are just they let that get under them. They're worried about the dice rolls, and oh no, it's a dice roll. I'm gonna blow it. Like, why? It happens. You could roll well, you could roll badly. You could roll badly. It works for the other guy too that you're fighting. you just end up running people out of the hobby. Nobody goes, I want to play a game. I want to play a game with that guy because he's always angry or he always has a bad attitude. Like, come on, you're not getting paid to do any of this stuff. Some of the best DBA games ever played, my opponent and myself rolled like utter crap the entire game. Yeah. Yep. It happens. I'm sure you tried to roll better than you did, but you know the other guy's trying to win too. I didn't realize you'd actually played DBA. I remember one game I was playing against Frank. We're fighting over a stream using ancient Greek armies, and we just kept pushing each other back over the stream. It went on for an hour. Well, that's how long the game's supposed to last. Played TBA back in 2007, 2009. Okay. Me too. Okay. We got all the road wheels on there. We'll leave them upside down so there's no extra undue pressure on them. And we'll see you guys on